Good afternoon, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. First off, I would like to thank Charles and Richie and Helena for joining me and for the warm reception that we received here in Scarborough. You know, it was just over a month ago that I entered the race for the Liberal leadership, and I did it because I felt that we needed to make big changes to get our economy back on track and to build the strongest economy in the G7. And this was before even the threats and tariff challenges with the United States. Now, we have a plan to get that done. And core to that plan, the first big step in that plan, is to make sure that government works for all Canadians. And that's why today I'm announcing a new approach to how we manage the budget, how we manage government spending. And the essence of this is to spend less and invest more. That means reining in government spending so that Canada can invest more as a country. Now, this is both practical and necessary. And I think of it this way, and with the Minister of Small Business to my left and her experience, think of a small business that has to pay operating expenses like salaries, office supplies through their revenues. But then they borrow to invest in machinery and equipment to grow that business. Or think of a household that has to pay for heat and electricity, but takes out a mortgage to buy a new home. What we will do as a government is to focus on reducing spending if I am elected.
Right.
It's clear that the federal government is spending too much. Spending growth has been 9% on average over the course of the last decade. And the federal workforce has grown by over 40% since 2015. And the government has missed many of its spending targets. At the same time, Canada as a whole is investing too little. The overall level of business investment has dropped from 14% of our GDP 10 years ago to about 11% today. And that reduction in investment undermines our longer-term competitiveness, workers' wages, and the resources that are available to spend on social programs, including health care. So if I'm elected Liberal leader, my government's fiscal policy will focus first on reining in government spending. And that will help create the room for personal income tax cuts so that Canadians can keep more of their hard-earned money and cope with the higher cost of living. We'll deliver more efficient and effective government, focusing on maximizing the outcomes achieved, not on the dollars that are spent. We'll slow the growth of government spending. We will cap the size of the federal public service. We will review program spending with an emphasis on outcomes. And we'll use technology, including AI and machine learning, to create efficiencies within programs and across government. So as a result, we will balance the operational budget within 3 years. At the same time, we will focus on catalyzing unprecedented levels of private investment across Canada to create jobs, to grow workers' incomes, and drive the productivity we need for those public services.
Are you serious?
This is the time to build an even better Canada, with major investments including millions of homes over the next decade. Expanding and modernizing our energy infrastructure so that we are less dependent on foreign suppliers and the United States as a customer. Becoming a clean energy superpower. creating a leadership position in AI, combining new intelligence infrastructure and energy infrastructure, and diversifying our trading partners away from the United States through development of ports, supply chains, and new trade corridors.
Wanting to get your thoughts on Mark Carney and your relationship with him while you were Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and any advice you have to Canadians who think he might make a good Prime Minister.
Well, Mark Carney was Governor of the Bank of England, and under his tenure, too much money was printed, which did damage to the British economy and put our economy off track. He, at the last election, endorsed Rachel Reeves' economic policy. She's now become Chancellor. It's been a disaster for Britain. The country is heading for bankruptcy.
The mic is working. Thank you very much. My name is Tahir Jamal TJ. I'm the founder owner of the emerging media house TJ Talks Toronto. I'm a professional accountant hotelier working for the Soho Hotel Toronto, Starwood and Mastercraft, leading their finance and accounting for the last 3 years, 20 years in 22 Canada, 20 years in finance and accounting hotel. So my question, and I'm a part-time faculty member at Durham College during pandemic time, and there was no job. I was teaching Durham and Queens.
Okay.
Right? In the same context, last July I went to back home, Pakistan, Karachi. I delivered a lecture on 10 lucrative economies of the country, and this April I'm going to do FDI, foreign direct investment. Just a brief introduction of mine, sorry about that. Sir, my question is, or my concern is, I'm just concerned about the Team Canada. I love Canada. I am dual national. Thing is the way the things are going. I'm deeply concerned and observing, and I appreciate Mr. Justin Trudeau dealing is very well, and Mr. Duckford dealing is handling very well. Appreciate that. Good friend of Duckford. So, sir, what's your different? What would be different your strategy compared to the existing leader of Liberal? How are you going to handle after March 3rd the same? That would be the first challenge for you, and you know the best. Thank you very much for giving me the time.
Yeah, thank you for the question, and I'm going to summarize it. What would be different if I am selected leader? I would remind those who might be voting in the Liberal leadership that it would be after March 9th. So that's the timing for the selection. Look, the first thing I'll say is that one of the things I've been doing, and part of what I'm announcing today is consistent with this, is in any case, irrespective of the position of the United States, we need to build our economy. We need to strengthen our economy. We have tremendous opportunities to do that. It starts from the government getting its house in order, being a partner where necessary, catalyzing many multiples of private dollars for any programs that the government is pursuing to drive private investment, creating room for that middle-class tax cut. All of that will help build our economy and drive forward. That's important in and of itself for jobs today, bright futures tomorrow. It also puts us in a stronger position in our negotiations with the United States. We are masters in our own home. We control our economic destiny. Straight from March 9th or March 10th, if I'm selected Liberal leader, we will bear down on that moving forward. Last point. Of course, we will continue to pursue a Team Canada approach. We will work as appropriate with the provincial premiers, with other stakeholders, to get the best deal in the fullness of time with the United States, but very importantly, to also expand our trading partners around the world. Thank you.
Next question.
Hello, hi, this is Maggie from Singdao A1 radio station and Canada Universal Media Association. My question is that how you're going to navigate the complexity of Canada's economic and political relationship with China while withholding Canadians' values and interests.
Well, thank you very much for the question. I think, in part, your question contains the answer. What is crucial for our trading partners is that they respect our values. We maintain our values. And that goes to everything from the workers' rights for our commercial relationships with any country. I'm not going to specify it to one in particular. And it also looks to the opportunities for win-win commercial opportunities between nations. We have had a difficult period between our two nations. We have stood up rightly for Canadian rights and Canadian values. And that provides a basis from a Canadian perspective on which to build if it is in the interests of China to accept that.
Please go ahead with next question.
Hi, Mr. Carney. Ariel Sutter from Bloomberg News.
Hi.
The outline you released today sketches out considerable spending on infrastructure, technology, as well as a middle-class tax cut, financed entirely by savings found in government. I'm wondering how many billions of dollars you'll have to cut from the budget to finance your priorities.
So the first thing is, if I may say, and this is a critical point, what we're looking to be much more disciplined around is the programs of the government or any direct investment of the government, that it catalyzes many multiples of private investment, and that as a consequence of that, it's growing our economy. And so being very clear and disciplined and linkages between those, that's the first. The second is that we have looked, and there will be an appropriate point if I'm selected leader and move forward, to cost out directly and reveal those costings of the various measures that we put in place. I have worked in the federal public service. I assisted in that role in the preparation of 7 different budgets over time. I have seen both how to do program reviews of government spending that yields results, and how not to do it to yield results. I look at the figures and the shifts in the level of public spending, and I can see opportunities for those savings, and above and beyond opportunities to make horizontal savings, in other words, savings across government, much better use of information, data, technology, and efficiency. In the end, and I'll hand back if there's a follow-up, in the end, this is as much about making that government spending much more productive. It's about a focus on outcomes. It's about a reversal of the focus and delivering better programs for Canadians, partly through better tools for Canadian public servants.
Thank you, Mr. Carney. One follow-up. Would you rule out tax increases to finance your spending programs?
Well, we're not going to increase taxes in order to cut taxes. We're looking at a middle-class tax cut to deliver directly to Canadians, yes. So to respond in English, this is, has all the potential to be the type of project, public-private partnership, that the country needs. There are many, many other examples, to be clear, and I listed some of them in my opening remarks on energy and intelligence, ports, etc. But this has some potentially large economic benefits. The studies released today put those net economic benefits at over $30 billion for the country. Let's be clear what's agreed, and the Government of Canada has made an agreement today with a consortium. It's to move forward with a conception phase, which is an important phase of studies and development, very concrete, over the course of the next several years. But there will be decisions to be made by the next government about proceeding, and a government led by me.
It never happened. This one was invented by a writer. Not this time.
I'm sure by others will make sure, but I certainly will occupy myself directly with this as appropriate to ensure that the project going ahead benefits all Canadians as much as possible.
Thank you. And one final follow-up.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Always fun having a soundtrack.
Yeah.
Are President Trump's comments about the annexation of Canada a threat to the future of Canada that our military should take seriously?
Well, the first thing is that Canada will never be part of the United States in any way, shape, or form. It's a non-starter. These hypotheticals, and if I'm selected leader, I look forward to engaging with President Trump and my colleagues with the broader U.S. government to find an arrangement that is best for both sides. But Daniel shows the best thing we can do, the most important thing we must do, is to build our economy on our own.